warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Izzati binti Harrison. My number matric is A1980753. I'll be presenting about introduction. First is background and content. The purpose of the research is to investigate the difficulties and solutions that educators face when putting in place online learning program for medical students and postgraduate trainees. In medical education, there are many long-established educational approach to learning, including face-to-face lecture in the classroom as a teacher's center paradigm. This attitude toward educational method can begin in the classroom and expand throughout an organization or field, resulting in a resistance to new and growing ideas and technology. Through online learning, students can obtain easier and more effective access to a greater range and higher amount of knowledge. Next is problem statement. Many factors ranging from student motivation to staff motivation might influence whether an online learning program is successful. When it comes to introducing e-learning into a medical college or program, good scientific proof research may assist bolster your argument by proceeding faculty to stay up to date on technology improvement. It will help to address underlying concern among medical faculty members who are hesitant to include e-learning into their teaching approach. There are a few problem statements which are: first is, what are the identify and synthesis current literature relevant to the difficulties and solution to the creation and implementation of online learning in medical education. Second is, what are the research on medical educator experience, digital literacy, and or involvement in the development and implementation of e-learning tools and programs. Third is, what are the constraints and solutions that limit and help e-learning from the perspective of a medical educator. Third is research question. The research question are: first, what is the current literature synthesis relevant to the difficulties and solution to the establishment and implementation of online learning in medical education from the standpoint of a medical education? Second is, how is existing material relevant to medical educator experience, digital literacy, and or involvement in the development and implementation of e-learning tools and programs being evaluated. Third is, what are the constraints and solutions that limit and help e-learning from the perspective of a medical educator? This objective is: first, from the perspective of a medical education professional, identify and synthesis current literature relevant to the difficulties and solution to the creation and implementation of e-learning, of online learning in medical education. Second is to review and evaluate existing research on medical educator experience, digital literacy, and or involvement in the development and implementation of e-learning tools and programs. Third is to identify the constraint and solution that limit and help e-learning from the perspective of a medical educator. Five is operational definition. First is skill. First is barriers and skill defeat. The solution is engagement. Second is resource. First is barrier, time. The solution is time. Second is barrier about infrastructure. The solution is cost. While medical school may not always employ this study when developing an online program, it is suggested as one of the approach to evaluate the cost of providing such infrastructure as a potential solution rather than a hindrance. Next is institutional strategies and support. Barriers is about poor community. The solution is about collaboration. Last is about attitude. The barriers is about attitude. The solution is culture. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Khairul Anwar bin Ishaq. My matric number A19A0354. Okay, today I want to present about chapter 2, literature review. The research discuss about the independent and dependent variable in this chapter. Traditional clinical education and student driver factor to staff driver factor are the independent variable. Online learning is the dependent variable. Okay, next we go to dependent variable, that is online learning. Refer to BMC Medical Education 2018, face-to-face lecture in classroom via a teacher center paradigm one of many long-established pedagogical approach to learning in medical school. There has been a transition in medical education on practice over the last few decades from traditional means of instruction to new media such as online learning. According to Howland, online learning is described as the use of electronic technology and media to offer assist and enhance both learning and teaching, and it entails contact between students and teachers using online content. Students can benefit from easy and more effective access to a bigger range and higher quantity of knowledge through online learning. Next, we go to independent variable 1 and dependent variable. This part talk about relationship between traditional clinical education and online learning. Digital literacy is described as the ability to locate, analyze, use, and generate information using digital technology, communication tool, or network. The ability to understand and utilize information in diverse format from a wide range of sources when delivery via computer. Last, literacy is defined as the capacity to read and analyze media, recreate data and image via digital manipulation, and access and apply new knowledge received from digital context. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Muhammad Zizan Zainal. My matric number A18036. Now I will present about independent variable 2 and dependent variable. The relationship between student-defined factor to staff-defined factor and online learning. Staff-defined factor might impact whether an online learning program success or fail. Staff culture resistances, for example, have previously been highlighted as a barrier to student involvement with technology-based education. Those staff-focused in initiative may be critical to the effective implementation of e-learning system. Conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is the theoretical operation that demonstrate the relationship of different construct in a research student study. Independent variable, traditional clinic education and online learning. Student derived factor to staff derived factor. Dependent variable, online learning. Research hypothesis. Hypothesis 1. There is a positive relationship between educator and online learning. Hypothesis 2. There is a positive relationship between traditional clinical education and online learning. Hypothesis 3. There is a negative relationship between student device factor to staff device factor and online learning. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Akmal Hafiz bin Muhammad Hassan. My matric number is A19A0276. Today, I want to talk about my part on this assessment, which is research design. Firstly is a study plan that defines the process to be followed by a researcher in order to attain their research aim or test the hypothesis offered for their investigation is known as research design. The research for this study was conducted using a quantitative research method. The researchers acquire the necessary data using a quantitative research design in this study. Quantitative data will be collected in numerous form, which is rational, statistical, and objective. The researcher employs a quantitative approach in which respondents are provided a questionnaire that can be accessed via Google Form and is simple for educator to complete in a short period of time. Next, I will explain method and sources of this research. Data collection is the process of carefully gathering meaningful information in order to ensure that the analysis will produce logical result. Regardless of the subject of study or data definition preference, accurate data collecting is essential for maintaining the integrity of analysis, quantitative and qualitative. The questionnaire will be presented in dual language, English and Malay, to make it easier for respondents to participate as there are many different races. The nominal and interval scale will be used in the questionnaire along with other respondent categories. Question A, B, and question C are the three sections of the questionnaire. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Natika Bajasastono and my meeting number is A1A0535. I will continue this presentation with my part. The first is about sampling. A sample is a subset of individuals from a large population, and sampling is selecting the group that you will actually collect data from in your research. The population refers to the complete set of events from a researcher's sample. Researchers employ sampling strategy to decrease the number of cases because they don't have time or resources to analyze the complete population for a given study. For the sampling, I have a 3 points. The first is about population of study. The researchers choose a target audience of lecturer, student, and resident who are interested in participating in the study to determine the relationship between the independent and dependent variable. The second point is about sample size. The sample size in this study is represented the entire population 1,435 people take a part. The correct sample size was determined by randomly selecting 1,000 students, 275 residents, and 160 lecturers from a pool of 1,000 participants. The third point is about sampling produced. In this study, we use the probability sampling method. Probability sampling is a sampling method in which a researchers choose a sample from a large population at random. To represent the respondent in this study, simple random sampling was used. We are able to collect a wide range of information and give each respondent an equal opportunity to avoid using this method. I will present the next part, that is analysis plan. Analysis plan is analysis strategy that assists you in planning how to collect data and what to do with it. Creating an analysis plan is a critical step in ensuring that all necessary data and resources are used. Analytical planning may be a worthwhile time investment. For analysis plan, I have a 3 points. The first is about descriptive statistic. Descriptive statistic is a mean, standard deviation, and variable frequency are used to characterize or summarize the characteristic of a sample or data collection. Inferential statistic can assist us in determining what main element in a data sample tick. Respondents were asked to provide information such as their age, nationality, gender, ethnic, and socio-economic status. The second point is Variability Test. This tool is useful when researchers collect data and assign rating, score, or categorize to one or more variables. The currency, also known as test variability, is a purchase of a measurement. In the study, interacted variability was tested for both independent and dependent variables. The last one is Bayesian correlation. Bayesian correlation is the metric used to determine the linear relationship between two set data. It is essentially a measure of normalized covariance, with a value always ranging between -1 and 1. The measure, like covariance, can only capture linear relationship between variables. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Mustaqim bin Mustafa. My metric number A1A0391. In my parts, I would like to present about the implication and contribution to knowledge. The introduction is online learning is a method of education where students learn in a fully virtual environment. First, introduced in the 1990 with the creation of the internet and utilized in distant learning, online learning, and utilized distant learning, online learning, also called e-learning. Online learning refers to an internet-based learning environment that connect students of diverse background who boost different perspective. Next is about the practical implication. The primary goal of this student to analyze the literature to identify, recognize heartless and solution that educators confront while building and implementing online learning programs for medical students and postgraduate trainers. This study helps students open their eyes toward the important the online learning step. This will make students more open and know how to solve the problems. As the result, it is critical that postgraduate preparing body, therapy school, and their teacher are mindful of the barriers to the execution of this type of the learning. Next is about contribution to knowledge. First is usually to students to ensure problem about online learning. Next is the review have this distinguished obstruction and arrangement among therapeutic teacher to the execution of online learning in the therapeutic instruction. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.